Okay, so welcome back. This is the third video. All right, in this video, we're going to be making another tab at the bottom here for athlete maxes and be able to fill in these maxes here along with the athlete that we choose from, which athlete will go from here. But first, hopefully you have all of these filled out to where you can do a drop down based off of what you pick here. That was in our last video. But I want to clean this up just a little bit. So I'm going to click and highlight the column A. And really what I'm going to show you is how to kind of like hide these. All right. So if I go into, let me see, where is it at? So sorry, if I go into data, sorry about that, it should say group. Okay. And I'm going to click on group and you'll get a little minus button here. So I can always do that. And I'm going to do that 2 more times for here. Okay. Now this is not doing anything to your dashboard here. It's really just hiding those columns, because when you print these off, you don't, if let's say you want to give it to an athlete or have it on you when you're working maybe with a client, you don't want to have those extra columns on here, because when you print it off, it will be extremely small to where you can't really even see it. So by minimizing these, it will make your template a lot bigger, because at the beginning we made it fit 2. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense right there, but it's a way to where you can hide these to where you don't have to have them. Now let's dive into the actual video. All right, so I'm gonna hit the little plus button here. All right, and it makes another sheet here. I'm going to rename this. All right, and I am going to name this athlete maxes. Okay, at the very bottom of the page. Okay, so hit enter. All right, so now we have a whole new page that's blank and it's called athlete maxes. On here, we have currently clean, back squat, front squat, deadlift, and bench press. So we have 5 exercises that we want to get maxes on. So if I go here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we want to have that extra column. We're going to scroll down 1, so we have 2 rows worth. Okay, we're going to go insert and click on a table. The same thing will pop up as like what we had earlier when we did our exercises. Make sure it's not checked off, and we're going to click OK. So this is what you should have right here. We're going to name this table, all right, athlete max, okay? And that's where you put in the table, all right? Remember, no spaces, just we're going to put athlete max, and we're going to hit enter. So if you go in, you have your athlete max, and that's where you'll find this box will be highlighted. All right. Now, one thing we have to do is we're going to change this to athletes names, and don't worry, these can be there can be spaces in this one. We have our clean. We're just doing our abbreviations that are on the other page. Our back squat, our front squat. We had deadlift, and we had our bench press. Okay, so these right here I got from right here. Okay, so going back here, and now what we want to do is we're going to highlight, take this and highlight, not in the name but highlight down for those 2 rows, and not in the table because we already named that table, but underneath that where we have that drop down, I'm going to click in that, and what we're going to type in is athletes. Okay, make sure it's different so it can read it. So this one does not have an S. I put an S after this one, so it doesn't make it a different name than what you named it up here. Click enter. Now if I go in and I click on athletes, it only has that athletes highlighted. Okay, so if I put in right now Jacob. Okay, let's go Mark, and let's go Tommy. Okay, So we have those. If I go in and I go athletes, boom. All right, it's under the header, and those are the ones that are highlighted. That's what we want currently, and that's what we're going to have. Okay, we're on a good setup right now. All right, so the next step is to go into our dashboard, and we're going to go and click into the clean. We're going to get rid of this. All right, we're going to go equals. So we're going to put in a formula to get those over into our maxes. All right, we had those in just when we were setting it up. This is actually going to pull it for exactly what we need. So we're going to go athletes max because that's what we named it. Okay, remember. We're going to go bracket. Okay, and we're going to go headers because all of those things are headers at the top. All right, our name, our clean, our back squat, all of those are headers. All right, and we're going to close that off with another square, comma. All right, and then I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to pick clean because that's what I want. Close that off, and then I got to do one more. So you should have two of those. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Don't forget your equal sign. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to have clean. All right, and I'm going to put my cursor on the bottom right corner. Should have a black little thing right there, and I'm going to pull and drag over. If I go in, it should be switched. All right, because it's always just going over one column. So it should have your back squat, it should have your front squat, deadlift, bench press. So it should be the same exact thing. The only thing that's changing is this part in your formula bar with what you're trying to pull it out of. Okay. So this is what we're looking for. All right. And now what we're going to do is put in our athletes. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into data validation. All right. We've already done this. Go lists. And what would we start off with? We always start off with an equal sign. We're going to type in athletes. Hit enter, and now we have a drop down. Oh, boom. All right, so we got Jacob, Mark, Tommy. All right, so if I add in somebody else, all right, Becky, boom. All right, and I'm going to just put that up in the top, and I'm going to make that a lot bigger so I can see it. All right. And awesome. Now we have that part. All right. And now this is going to be a little bit shorter of a video, but what we're going to do is let's just go with Jacob, my name, and I'm going to put in some of my maxes. All right. So let's go 245, and that was a long time ago. So probably not that anymore. Let's go 405, front squat, 315, deadlift. I don't know. Let's go 4. No, I don't want to do 4. 350 and bench press. I don't like benching whatsoever, so I'm going to just put 225. All right. So I have all of those in here, and now I'm going to put those into here based off of my name. So how do we do that? Now we're going to go into a VLOOKUP. All right. So we're going to go into the square, and we're going to go equals V look, and it should pop up. So you just put in the first couple letters, and it's going to pop up. All right, I'm just going to go up here at the formula bar to make it look easier. So VLOOKUP, perfect. We're going to go $. All right, now what the $sign means is that it's locking that column into place, column and rows. All right. So for here, we are under Q, okay? So my name, the Q1, which is what we're trying to pull the name from. So we're going to go Q, and then another $sign, 1. So the Q is the column, 1 is the row, and both $signs are there because I don't want this to move, all right? I want it to be that exact, from that exact column and row every single time for when I use this formula. Then we're going to go comma, and we're going to type in athlete max. okay? Because we're taking it from that table that we named it. We're going to go comma. We're going to type in the number 2, comma, and we're going to type in false. Close off that parenthesis and hit enter. Boom. All right, that worked perfectly. And now what we want to do is we want to highlight across. It's going to be always 245, okay, because it's pulling from the clean. So how do we now get that, all right, to switch over? All right, so we're going to have to do a little bit. All right, so that 2 that I had, all right, what that is actually saying is it's taking it from the Athlete Max table from the second column. All right, so that's what that 2 means. So if I go here, the clean is second column. So we have 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so if I go in here and I just change this number to a 3, I change this number to a 4, I change this number to a 5, and I change this number to a 6. Okay, all of those maxes are right there for that individual. Now, for Mark, let's just put in some other numbers. So I'm just going to go 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. He has a big, huge bench press. Well, we're just going to use those numbers right there. And I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to check and see, did it work? It does. That's awesome. Okay, that's what we want right there. All right, so we are on a very good spot right here. All right, and then we have to fill out our training max. Now this might be a little different because what the training max is what we're going to do is we're going to use this 100%. All right, so what we're going to do for here is we're going to go equals in this one right here, and we're going to go C2. So you could just click on it. You don't have to actually type in C2. All right, and you're going to multiply that by this right here. Now, I want to lock this in. So how do we lock stuff in again? Well, use the dollar signs for each of these, all right? And now I want to lock this a couple more things in. I want to lock in the row, but I don't want to lock in the column, and I want to shift it over. So how do I do that? All right, so I don't want to lock in the column, but I want to lock in the row. So you just put in the dollar sign in front of the 2, not the C. All right, hit enter. And now I'm going to put my cursor there and scroll over. All right, and you got this. Now, all of these should equal exactly what you have here because you're at 100%. If I type in 90%, it's going to go off of 90% of what you have here. Okay, if I go 50%, it's going to be 50% of all of these. All right, so that is something that we can work with. All right, so it's really kind of cool how you can do that. All right, and that's how you use the dollar signs. Remember, they're just there for you to lock in numbers. All right, and that's going to be the end of this video. We're going to dive into the next video and add in a lot more stuff for your maxes and start plugging in stuff for within each of these. All right, so see you in the next video.